Hello, I'm Valerie Priester, and this is the Business by Design podcast. Are you a woman entrepreneur who absolutely loves what you do and enjoy helping others, but for some reason you can't seem to get out of your own way? You can't seem to get out of your head and really create the level of success that you desire? I get it. I truly understand. I've been there too. You see, I spent years searching for, what do they call it? The holy grail, the secret sauce, right? To success. And what I learned along the way is all of the women that I knew that were very successful had one thing in common, and that was their way of thinking. Now, I know you may be saying it can't be that simple, can't be that easy, right? But the truth is, the number one key or secret, however you want to label it, to success is your way of thinking. It's your mindset. It's what you believe and what you think is possible for you. And so that's exactly why I created this podcast. I want to help you get out of your head, get out of your own way. I want to help you get into more profits, more passion, and more power. I want to help you to shift away from old beliefs and release old ways of thinking, self-sabotaging conversations, and help you shift into new beliefs that support your goals and bring lasting success. I want to help you design your victory so you can create the business and life that you desire. So if you're ready for some real talk about how to do that, if you're ready to really make the shift and move into greater possibilities and greater success, you're in the right place.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Business by Design. I'm your host, Valerie, and I'm super excited because I am here with my first guest on the podcast. One of the things I've been wanting to do is bring on guests to add a little bit more depth and definitely more conversation for my audience. And so I am super excited that I met this young lady via LinkedIn, just kind of reached out and said, hey, let's connect. And we did a virtual coffee chat. And here we are today. And I invited her to be a guest on my podcast. And she is the first. So we want to celebrate her for being the first guest on the podcast. So I want you to welcome Annabelle Klein to the podcast. Annabelle is a confidence and consistency coach. Ooh, two of the C words that I absolutely love because they are so important, right? She helps business owners show up consistently and confidently on camera so they can connect with their audience and build a personal brand. Welcome, Annabelle.
Hi, Valerie. Thank you so much for having me. I am honored to be your first guest and speaking with your community. Hi, everybody, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I could not wait to do this episode with you. I was a guest on Annabelle's podcast as well, and we had such an amazing time just conversating and chatting about the things that we love most. And so I could not wait to invite her here to chat with you guys as well. So today we want to just have you share with us, Annabelle, how did you start in your journey of stepping into the entrepreneur world and showing up with confidence?
Whew, it's a bit of a long story. I'll try to keep it short.
Okay.
I basically always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to have my own business. When I was in university, I basically worked my way through university and I had a lot of odd jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say the bosses that I had weren't really the nicest, and I didn't really like the working environments that I was in, like customer service jobs and the such. And throughout university, I always knew that like someday when I graduate, I'm gonna do something different than everybody else was talking about in
Nice.
like, as I saw in my class, my friends in university and all of that, everybody had these corporate careers, sort of like dreaming of corporate careers, and some even had working opportunities, but I never really wanted that. I wanted to do my own thing. The
Mm-hmm.
problem was I had no idea what I wanted to do. I
Okay.
just knew that I loved psychology, and this is what I studied in university. Um, but I didn't want to be a psychotherapist. So it
Uh-huh.
was a lot of I don't want to do that, but not what I actually wanted to do. So after university, I went on an 8-month trip around Europe. And during that time, I first discovered this world of creators, especially on YouTube. And I started dabbling in a lot of different areas,
Uh-huh.
videography, photography, blogging, but I didn't really stick with anything. Uh, it wasn't that I was like expected everything to sort of just happen. I was always a
Right.
hard worker,
Hmm.
but I think I lacked this because, as you know, with entrepreneurship, you don't really know that you are on the right path. You're
Yes,
just, it's just a lot of guesswork, basically.
absolutely.
And because every time I'd start something and then I'd stop, I kind of started sort of hesitating whether or not this path is actually for me, if I'm cut out for entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
But I somehow still like dabble, like I still continued doing that, like trying different things. It was easy back then, to be
Yes.
honest. I had also like a full-time job that I could do from anywhere.
Hmm.
So it was easy to explore. But then at a certain point, I decided that I wanted to settle down somewhere. And I decided to come to Germany. I'm originally from Israel, if I didn't say that.
Okay.
And when I got to Germany, I thought, wouldn't it be cool to open a photography studio? And so I started like making connections with people, doing a lot of photography here and there. And then COVID happened. And I
Uh,
was stuck at home. No
yes.
photography options. So I started sort of playing around with the photos that I had. And this is how I discovered collage art. And this, when I discovered that, it was the first time in my life where I was like fully in love with something that I really wanted to make it work.
Okay.
And I did make it work for a while. I had clients, I worked with magazines and such. But then a lot of, at a certain point, clients stopped coming to me, and I had to actually start actively looking for clients. And this
Right.
is where a lot of the fears started coming up, uh,
Absolutely.
sp- specifically over like reaching out, putting myself out there, because what I was doing up until that point is basically posting my art on Instagram. I wasn't really showing myself. I wasn't talking about my process or any of that. It was just like me hiding behind my art.
Right.
But I realized that I really had to put myself out there and go network, talk to people in magazines, to writers, editors, stuff like that. And that terrified me. And at that point, I told myself, listen, either this will be another thing that you will let go of, or you will make it happen.
Hmm.
It's either this or you go find a 9 to 5. So
Right.
I decided to stick to it and I started really working in all of my fears. I also like struggled with social anxiety for most of my life. I worked on that, slowly started building my self-esteem, my confidence, and started getting clients through that. But at that point, I sort of fell in love with personal development and the
Uh-huh.
whole world of coaching. And I
Yeah.
decided that this is what I actually wanted to do. This is it, it feels so awesome to be confident and being able to do literally anything that you want to do and not being your own worst enemy. It is so freaking powerful that you are the one
Mhm.
who's getting yourself where you want to go. And I just wanted to help people do that, to stopping them from like I never know how to phrase this honestly, but like I hate like the idea of people stopping themselves from doing something just because of their mind. Like
Absolutely.
because literally this is the only thing that's stopping them. And
Yes.
I just want to help anybody who wants to reach a dream to reach it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is so cool. Some of that I didn't know. So thank you for sharing that. And I love what you say about, helping people realize that they're stopping themselves. And it really is about mindset, right? A
Yeah.
large part, I say 90% of our success as entrepreneurs is mindset, right? That other 10%, that's the strategy, the tactics, all the things that you need to do in order to build a successful business. But really being able to put yourself out there and do it confidently and boldly, that requires a lot. And especially for women, like, have you found that in working with your clients that it's more difficult for women to step into the spotlight than it is for men?
Honestly, not necessarily.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I did work with some men who had a problem with this. It comes out differently for men than for women.
Okay.
I find that actually funny enough for men, like how this saying goes, for example, if you wanna post a reel of yourself talking on camera, and you're afraid of what people will think of you. And
Right.
usually when you ask which people,
Right.
usually you don't really have an answer.
Right.
But
That's true.
actually with men, they do have a very specific person. Like I worked with at
Really?
least like two men who had like a specific person who they didn't want seeing their content, and this is what was stopping them. And I'm
Okay.
like, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. We typically don't know who the people are that we're afraid will
Exactly.
judge or criticize us, or all of those things that stop us from actually stepping in front of the camera. So, wow, that's interesting. So, tell me, what's the best part about helping other people step into their confidence?
Oh my gosh, seeing what they achieve when they do that. And even way before, it's not like, confidence is something that you reach, like you work on it today, you are be confident tomorrow.
Right.
It's the whole process of it, honestly. Just seeing a person putting themselves out there, because this is how you build confidence, right? You
Right.
slowly start taking action, because confidence comes from competence. And seeing them take that action, this start doing this thing they've been procrastinating on for such a long time, and putting themselves out there if it's on camera, and just seeing them trying, this is the best part, because you are taking these steps. Finally you are going to get there, and like there's no doubt in my mind that if they when they start doing that, and if they stay consistent with it, that it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And also, like when we're talking about, like, before and after, just seeing that video of them when they're like truly standing behind what they're saying, truly like could have conviction in who they are and what they're saying, as opposed to like the first video, that's really rewarding to see. I'm sure
And
for
it
them as well.
truly is. Oh my goodness, I love that. So in your own journey, like, what was one thing that you now remember was like the key turning point in you saying, you know what, I'm just going all in and I'm going to show up confidently? What was one key turning point for you?
I think it was the idea, if I don't do this, then I'm gonna need to find a 9 to 5. I really didn't
Okay.
want that. Like,
Yeah.
if I was certain of something in my life, is that I never
It's that.
wanted to be
Yeah.
in a 9 to 5.
Yeah. We share that. I think that was one of the things that really kept me going as well, with because I too did several different businesses and different things because I knew I was meant to be a business owner.
Hmm.
And I think that was the one thing that really kept me going as well, trying to figure out, that path is I
Yeah.
knew I did not want to work for someone the rest of my life. I just knew that was not the path for me, right? But it's often very scary to step into this arena, right? Because we don't know all the pieces. We don't know all the things to do. And like you said, you were fine as long as clients were coming to you. But then when things kind of dried up a little bit and you had to actually do the work to attract your clients, that's a whole different subject, right? And it brings about a different requirement for confidence to show up and to really stand in your gift and your talent and say, I'm here and I can help you, right? So for you, how difficult was that?
It was very difficult.
Yeah.
Um, and it was definitely not linear journey. A lot of
Yeah.
ups and downs. I would like sign up to networking events because I knew that I had to put myself out there, and also
Mhm.
I knew that the cure to my social anxiety is actually getting myself in rooms where there's a lot of people.
Right.
And I would sign up to a lot of events and not go. Other times I would go, I would feel awesome, um, make some connections. And then other times it would be even hard to. I used to have this river by my apartment, and I used to love going to walk there. Sometimes it would be hard to go walk there just because I would be focusing too much on people seeing me, people judging
Right.
me,
Right.
etc., etc. So it
Yeah.
was a lot of like basically 2 steps forwards, 1 step back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but I also really, uh, the thing that helps as well was like the idea that I had of myself. When I looked at myself, the person that I wanted to be, it wasn't really matching the person that I was. I always like thought of myself as this confident person. I always wanted, to be on YouTube, inspire people, make these videos that make people think, make them change something in their life for the better. And I'm looking at myself and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're not this person. You're just pretending to be this person, but you're not actually this person. So
Right.
let's get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So when we talk about social anxiety, like a lot of people may not recognize what that is, but they have that, as something that's holding them back. What were some of the signs that you dealt with when you were dealing with social anxiety?
Whew. Uh, Turning red is a huge thing for me. Like, it
Okay.
still happens from time to time, to be honest, when I'm not prepared,
Yeah.
when I'm like caught off guard.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then it used to happen even if I'm like talking to people in the supermarket, like asking a question or something like that. I would turn a deep shade of red, sweating all over the place in places I didn't even know you could sweat. Just like body heat, mumbling, shaking sometimes. Fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
uh,
Yeah.
I would talk extremely fast just to get the attention
To get
away
it
from me.
over.
Like, yeah, like, okay, move on to somebody else, please. Um, I also had like some tricks for going to networking events. So I would
Oh,
always
share
arrive
that.
early,
Yeah.
because when you arrive early, there isn't like a group of people already there staring at you, which of course you
Right.
think that people will stare at you, but people are just busy with themselves. But in my head, it was like me walking into a room and people just like turning their heads. Ooh, Annabelle's here. Let's judge her. Let's scrutinize her.
Right.
So I would arrive early always, because like then there wouldn't be anybody there, and then
Right.
it's way easier for me to like basically like receive the people coming in as me walking into a group of people. And then I would
Mhm.
like talk to the hosts, which usually are very nice people and very welcoming. And I would situate myself in a place where I could like do a quick exit. I would like I would know where the bathrooms are if I needed to
Right.
like go and relax
Go
there.
away. Yeah.
uh like always hold something in my hand, so I
Okay.
like know what I'm doing with my hands, and like for
Right.
them not to shake and such and stuff like that. And I would the thing that helped me actually the most, which is a very great skill to have as a coach now, is that I always focus on the person in front of me. Like, I let them talk, and I'm very good at that, at like just asking questions, let the
Yeah.
person speak. And yeah, and people love that. People love talking
Yeah.
about themselves. So if you just like
Absolutely.
show this curiosity, they just go.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, those are gold nuggets. I love that because a lot of people struggle with networking for the
Hmm.
very reason that they fear what other people are thinking. And isn't it true, Annabelle, that we spend so much time worried about what other people are thinking of us? And the
Mm.
truth is, they're really not thinking of us because they're spending just as much time worried about what we're thinking of them.
The 100%.
But we
Yeah.
take all that energy and time, worrying about that thing, and people are not. They're really not thinking about us that much. They're really not. And once I learned that, that kind of helped me to step out a little bit more and go, you know what, I'm not going to worry about this because we get so caught up in the, oh, what if they think this or what if they think that, and they're really not even thinking about us. They're caught up in their own stuff, right? So I love the tips that you gave about networking because that is a huge area I know that, I help my clients deal with as well, is like reframing what networking is all about, but having those little tricks that you just shared, those are golden nuggets on how to deal with networking when you really do deal with social anxiety, right? Because it's so true for a lot of us. And a lot of people just have that fear of meeting new people, right? Like, what do I say?
Mm.
What do I ask them? All, and then you're in your head so much that you're not focused on the person in front of you. So that's a very good tip. Thank you for that. Thank you. So,
Of course.
what would you say was one of your greatest accomplishments since really stepping into this role of coaching and helping other women?
Wow. Biggest accomplishment.
Yeah. What you're most proud of?
Honestly, something that actually happened today.
Oh,
I was on a coaching call, and it wasn't like a normal coaching call. It basically was a situation where you coach somebody, and then this person coaches you back. So it's like
okay.
a way to keep your skills, and just like to stay up to date with things.
Yeah.
And she started by coaching me first, And she was a great coach. Like I had, my session, and then we took a break, and then it was my turn. And during during that call, during that session, I found myself not really needing to ask her a lot of questions because she was ba- just like flowing
Right.
with the answer. Like I asked her one question at the beginning, then she started flowing with it, and I could see her thinking. I could see, like, the trail of thought just going and going, and I let her be.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where I was thinking to myself, wow, she asked me way more questions than I asked her. Should I say something right now? But I was like, no, she needs the space to speak, to think. Let her think. It's not about you, it's about her. And this knowing that as a coach, you are there for your clients. You're not there to prove anything to them. You're not there to show off how skilled you are. You're not there to bombard them with everything that you learned in one session. You're just there to hold space for them. And this was such a great reminder, and also like to silence my ego, basically. That was a great accomplishment, to be honest, that I was able to put myself on the side and ask myself, what does she need? This is not about me. What does she need from me right now? And I was silent, and I let her go. And I didn't say anything until she looked at the camera again. And that was like, I think 20 minutes after the question.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah.
That's great. And it gives you such a great feeling to know that you can really control your own thoughts, your own ego, and what's going on in your head to be able to
Yeah.
help the other person, right? And we can all use that as business owners, especially if you're in the service industry, because it is about the person in front of you. It is about that client that you want to make certain that you're serving at the most excellent level, but you're allowing them the space to get what they need from you instead of you, like you said, jumping in and asking a lot of questions. You saw in the moment that this is what's needed in this moment. And
Yeah.
that really is a skill. It really is. So very good. Very good. So how long now have
Yeah.
you been in the coaching industry?
A year and a half, I
Year
would
and a
say.
half. Good.
It's very hard for me, to be honest, to answer this question, even though it's a very simple question, because
It has
it's
more to
such
it.
a, yeah, like the beginnings you have no idea what you're doing, especially if you're a coach who's also on social media. This takes a
Mhm.
huge part of it, all this marketing aspect of it, the content creation, all of that. Yeah, it's a year and a half ish, let's say.
That's okay. But here's what I know, right? And this is probably true for you. Even though it's been a year and a half, most likely you have always been that person that people come to, that people, really value your opinion, want to talk to you because they need someone to, talk it through and have that sounding board. You've probably been that person most of your life. Would you say so?
That's true. That's
Yeah,
a nice
yeah.
point. That is very true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I find that that's true with most coaches, right? Which is, I
Hmm.
think, what really attracts us or even calls us to this industry is because we have filled that role most of our lives. We have been that person, right? I know, like in my group of friends or whatever, I'm usually the one with reasoning, right? I'm usually the one that said, well, wait, let's look at it this way, or let's think about, looking at it this way, because there's different sides and different stories and different things involved when we're dealing with life experiences, right? And that's who I have been all my life. So I feel like when we decide to step into this arena, it's because it's something that we already innately have. It's just learning how to hone it and how to really use it so that it benefits our clients and anyone really that comes in contact with us, right? Do you often hear like your friends or people say, um, yeah, but I don't need to be coached right now? Can I just ask you a question? Do you
Mm,
ever hear that?
I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, yeah, it's normal. Let me just tell you, it's normal.
Yeah. So now I ask people before, do you want to, like, are you just venting? Do you want to just like let it out, or do you actually want a solution to the problem?
Right.
Because I don't understand it when people vent, to be honest. Like I I mean, I respect the need that they have for it. I just like, when you can solve a problem, why just not solve it? Like, why feel
Exactly.
bad? Why be in a mood for a week before you actually do
Right.
something about it?
You can do something
But
about it.
people, yeah, people just need that time, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very
Mhm.
foreign to me, but I respect that this is somebody's journey. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but one time I will say that I was talking to a friend and she was upset about something, and I went into coach mode without
You
even
went in.
asking her, and she was so upset. We did talk about it after, and I like apologized. And later, when I got home, I was talking to my partner, and I'm like, again, this ego thing. I wanted to be the coach in that moment. I wasn't thinking what she actually needed. I was just, oh, Annabelle to the rescue, even though nobody asked her to. So it is an ego thing, you
Yeah.
know. So I really like
And it's
had
normal.
to, yeah. So I have to remind myself of that. Like, okay, this person
Absolutely.
is just
And
venting.
and you say it's an ego thing, but sometimes I believe too it is also coming from our desire to help, right? So it's not always
Yeah,
so much about, well, I got to show you that I know things, or any of that, because I believe that's more of the ego. But I think on a deeper level, it's because you always have this desire to help, and so sometimes we can jump in. And trust me,
yeah,
you're not alone in that. I learned the hard way too. I had to learn to ask, is this what you're asking of me, or do you want me to just listen? Because if you want me to just listen, I can listen, right?
yeah.
But I think
But
that's
like, I just want to like challenge though this thought, because like, why do we think that we can help in the moment? You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
like for the example with my friend,
Uh-huh.
I was like, why am I doing that? You know, is it to make her feel good, or is it to make myself feel good for helping?
Hmm.
So it's just like this fine balance between,
Yes.
I want to help, but that friend doesn't really need the help right now,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
maybe it's not best for them even to get the help,
Hmm.
because it's something that they should experience themselves first before they go
Yes.
ask somebody for a solution.
Right.
So yeah, it's just an interesting thing to reflect on.
It's a fine line. It's a very fine line. And I think what helps you determine where you are in that is to stop and take the moment to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Just like you just said, why am I
Yeah.
doing this? Why do I feel the need to do this? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it can come from a place of ego. It really can. And
Yeah.
it can come from a place of, sometimes if we're feeling inadequate about what we're doing, and then opportunity presents itself, it's like people usually say Johnny to the rescue. We're going to say Jane to the rescue to show that, yes, I can do this, right? That's, to
Yeah.
me, all about ego, right? But sometimes when it's like our close friends, or, someone we really care about, it can be about just the desire to be able to help, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not taking the moment to just stop and say, well, wait, what's the best thing for them in this moment?
Yeah.
And it comes from the heart. It really does. I feel like, I know for me, in being a coach for the past 16 years, it's like the thing that drives me the most is my care and concern and compassion and empathy for other people, right? And so I have to, like you say, kind of step back sometimes and go, wait, is this the right time to help? Like, I always know it's coming from my heart, but is this the right time and the right situation in which I should do that? And
Yeah.
then learning to ask, ahead of time. So all those little things I had to learn too. We all have to learn. We all have to learn, because it's just a part of, the nature of this industry, and what you're doing to be able to help people. But I think you're
Yeah.
an amazing coach. I can tell just from the questions that you ask, the things that you say, and certainly all of the amazing tips that you've given, to be able to help us stand in our confidence. So I want to ask you one last, no, well, not one last thing, but one more question about confidence and being able to show up on camera. What is one tip that you can give to the audience to help them just kind of take the first step if they're really, really camera shy and, like, so caught up in, oh my God, I can't be seen and all that? What's one, like, small step that they can take to overcome
The easiest thing is to get in the habit of filming yourself, not for the sake of posting.
that?
Just
Okay.
set up the camera when you're cooking, whatever it is that you're doing, working on your laptop. set a camera next to you and just think basically out loud. Like just talk to it, whatever, just like rant. And then when you do that, go back and watch it. Because a lot of time what people don't like are afraid of is because they sound different or they look different on camera, because how we look on camera is different from the mirror because it's flipped.
Right.
And it gets some getting used to. It takes some getting used to seeing yourself like flipped basically. And also getting used to the sound of your voice. So film yourself, watch it. You don't have to post it, but just get in the habit of doing that, because the more you do it, I promise you it gets easier.
Really? That's a good idea. I tell you, I have to be honest. I
Mhm.
am good with if I like just do a Facebook Live, like I'm good with just hopping on and doing a Facebook Live. But if like my team will ask me often, do a video of this or do a video of that, it gets in my head that, oh my God, I'm doing a video for something, and I have to do 50 takes. I really do.
Mm,
But they have helped me kind of go, deal with that a little bit, in that one of the suggestions was just turn the camera on. Just like you said, just turn the camera on, let it run, and then do your little thing that you're going to do, and then keep letting the camera run and do it again if you feel like it, that wasn't good. And then they are able to edit stuff out. That has helped me a lot. Just like you said, just turning the camera on. Right. And so I get out of my head, because mine is about perfectionism. That's what mine
hmm
is about. Not so much worried about what people think or judging, is the perfectionist in me. That's like, oh, I didn't say that word right. I didn't do this right or that right. But what I've learned is that people really want more authenticity than perfect, right? And
exactly.
I'm all about authenticity. So it's really helped me to do just what you said. Just turn the camera on, right? And just start recording yourself. I think that's an excellent idea to help you really step out of that. So thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that.
and if I can add also something to what you said, this is another tip that really helps people is shift the focus from you to the person that you're speaking to. Because oftentimes when you're on camera, you want to create content for a certain purpose, right? You want to
Right,
help somebody. Who is this person? Try to imagine them in your head when you're talking. And also remember that people, they don't care about your pronunciation. They don't care about your accent, whatever it is. They
right,
just want a solution to their problem. Like you said earlier, people don't think about you as much as you think they do. They just
right.
want help to to their problem. So if you can give that, nothing else really matters.
Okay. Nice, nice. So how do you help your clients?
Ooh. So it's there's a variety of things that we do depending on exactly what it is that's stopping a person from showing up.
Okay.
So, like I said, a lot of people they struggle with a certain person seeing their content, or
Mhm.
the fact that somebody is gonna see it, or people are gonna judge them. Perfectionism, as you mentioned, just also getting used to how they appear on camera. So there's a lot of self love, self worth work that we do
Annabelle, I
together.
may have lost connection.
Sorry, it's trying to reconnect. I don't know if you can hear me.
I hear you now. There you go.
Okay.
Technology, it happens.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Um, mostly, yeah. Mostly working on confidence,
Hmm.
working
Hmm.
on getting in the habit of showing up on camera. So a lot of procrastination tendencies sometimes
Oh
when it
yeah.
comes to filming, when it comes to creating content as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, self worth, self
Yes.
esteem, and self love.
Good. I love that. I love that. Oh my God. It has been such a pleasure speaking with you and chatting with you. I could do this all day with you. So, so I do want to ask a couple of more things. One, what is your favorite book or quote that you have found most helpful in showing up confidently?
Ooh, honestly, I wouldn't say it's one thing. I'm not very good with quotes.
Okay.
um, I think it will have to go back to what I said about shifting the focus from yourself to other people.
Okay. I like
because I remember one time hearing something about this when it comes to finding your purpose, that when you're of service,
that. Hmm.
that's when happiness truly, like, people who are in service of others are the
Hmm.
happiest. And
Yes.
I really, like, it was really confronting thing for me to hear, to be honest, at that time.
Hmm.
As somebody who had to take care of herself from a young age, it was very hard for me to think of others.
Right.
Um, while I really care about people, really wanted to help them, it was all like thinking about me first.
Right.
And when I started thinking about being of service, for some reason I thought that I needed to stop thinking about myself. But it wasn't
Hmm.
so. It's actually when you do think about yourself, when you do care about yourself, when you love yourself, that's when you can give more to other people.
Absolutely.
And just realizing that, and there is so, like, whenever I get off a coaching call, and especially if that person had a breakthrough moment,
Right.
I feel elated. Like, it's such a
Yeah.
pleasure to be in those situations. I'm sure that you know, like, there's
Oh,
no
yes.
feeling like it.
That's right.
When you can help somebody, like, you had the privilege of being present when that person made a realization about something.
Right.
So just that, basically, it's not a quote. Unfortunately, I don't
Yeah.
have a good memory for quotes,
That's
but
fine. That's perfect, though. That's a part of who you are and what you believe. And I love that. I absolutely love that.
yeah, just like that. I think something that one time stuck with me that is like very basic, something that Kate
Uh-huh.
Winslet said, the actress. She said in her beautiful British accent, "It matters to be a decent person." And I
Yeah.
believe that in all, like, in everything that we do. In everything,
Everything.
really. It's
Yeah.
We need that. Like, the world needs kind, decent people. And
Absolutely.
again, it helps you become confident because you want to show up as this person, you know?
Yes.
You want to
Hmm.
show up as the person that your audience wants and
Yeah.
that they need at that moment.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
yeah, it
That's
all
juicy.
ties together.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
want to
I
share
love.
my favorite book, though. It has nothing to
Yeah.
do with confidence, but it's such a
That's fine.
fascinating book. And maybe for some people it would be a bit weird, but it's a book
Yeah.
by Matthew McConaughey, the actor. It's called Green
Oh, okay.
Lights.
Ah,
And the reason
okay.
why I love this book is that his life is so extraordinary, and he didn't do anything the way you should do it.
Right.
He's a very, like, he thinks in a such a, he just wanted to explore life and to experience life, and the stories that he shares in this book are fascinating. There's a story in there that I keep with me always. I'll just share it very briefly.
Sure.
He was sitting with two people. um, I think it was when he was in Africa. Sorry, I'm like, sorry if I'm
You're
getting the
fine.
details wrong,
You're fine.
but he was sitting with these two people, and these, like, one of these people were like giving an opinion about something, and the other guy, he was not agreeing with him. And then
Right.
Matthew, he said, "No, no, but I agree with this guy." And then both of these guys, they like kind of got mad at him,
Right.
and they said, "This is not about agreeing. This is about understanding."
Yeah.
And when you are in a conversation, you don't always have to say something. You just have to listen and understand what the person's perspective is. And I think,
Right.
again, like, this ties back so beautifully to coaching, because you
Yes.
don't have to agree, you don't have to respond. Sometimes you can just listen and understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
I wish more people in the world, like, knew this, that you don't have to agree to anything, to everything that people say. You can just understand it, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's powerful. That's really powerful because I believe that that's a lot of what we're missing, is because
Yeah.
people innately want to be right. We always want to look to be right, and it's not about being right. It's not even about being wrong. It's about being open to hearing and appreciating someone else's perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
if we all did that more, right, it would be a much better world. It really would. Because I think that's how we learn to really understand each other, right? Because we're all created differently. It was purposely done that way, right? Because if we were
Yeah.
all the same, then there'd be no excitement. There'd be nothing to experience that's different. So I think that's very powerful because it does allow us the opportunity to learn about others and learn about other cultures and, the way of living another life and how people deal with the things that they're dealing with. It's being open to different perspectives. That's really powerful. Now I have to read that book. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. So Annabelle, how can our audience connect with you?
You can find me mostly on Instagram. I hang out there mostly. I'm also on YouTube. And I actually, funny enough, you mentioned that your clients often struggle with networking and finding what to say. I actually have a freebie on that. So if you want, we can link that in the description, just with some conversation starters and some tips on what you can do to feel more confident at networking events.
Perfect.
I'm currently running a challenge of showing up on your stories for 5 days, where I'm going to be giving people prompts, and we're going to be part of a Facebook group. So we're going to, support each other and just keep each other motivated. It's going to start on the 4th of April. So I think this is way before this episode will go live, but I will run this challenge again. So you can, again, find me on Instagram and just know when the next challenge is going to be.
And it starts on the 4th of April?
The 8th of April, sorry.
8th of April, okay.
Yep.
Okay, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. We may air that before then so that you can certainly get some...
Oh, no worries. Like I said, I'm going to run it again so they can catch up the next one.
That sounds like an amazing challenge. I may have to join that challenge.
I would love it if you're there.
See my name there.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Annabelle. I appreciate you, and I certainly always enjoy conversating with you. It has been my pleasure to have you on, and I'm sure the listeners will be absolutely amazed to hear all the tips that you've given. You've given us some valuable information about showing up and being confident in who we are and about caring about other people. I think that's very, very powerful. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Valerie. And thank you, listeners, for sticking to us to the last minute. I appreciate you guys being here. And I appreciate you, Valerie. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And I look forward to speaking with you again.
Awesome. All right. Take care. All right, guys. Until next time, remember, designing your victory is a choice. And you get to start today by stepping out confidently and consistently and making sure that you are, most of all, authentically you. See you next time.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Business by Design podcast. If you love what you're hearing each week, let me know by leaving a rating and a review. And don't forget to follow the show so you don't miss out on proven mindset techniques, strategies, and tools to help you design your victory and create the business and life you desire. Also, if you're ready to talk about the business and life that you really want, head on over to valeriepriester.com and schedule your private business breakthrough clarity call. Until next week, remember, designing your victory is a choice. Start today.